Howdy guys, let me set the stage here. It's 2012 and you're Nintendo. You really liked this, but you want to do more of this. Nintendo said f it and put them together.
The Wii U, Nintendo's attempt to appeal to the core gamer, then about halfway through development said go back and tried to appeal to everyone. It's pretty widely recognized as one of Nintendo's worst selling consoles, and rightfully so. It was expensive, it wasn't powerful, third-party support was abysmal. Trust me, the great Wii U trashing from 2012 to 2015 was there, but was it warranted? I don't think so. Not only that, but personally, I think the Wii U might have been one of my favorite Nintendo consoles. Okay, well not really, but there may have been some kind of value to it. Let's start at the beginning. Development started around 2008 when Nintendo saw the massive amounts of casual gamers they had gathered with the Wii. Yeah, that thing was in every single retirement home and uncle's basement known to man, but with this successor, codenamed Project Cafe, Nintendo wanted to bring back the core gamers. Personally, I think this phase ended when they came up with the name Wii U. Eventually, the touchscreen was added along with HD and more in-depth online integration, and Nintendo would finally reveal it at their E3 press conference in 2011, and boy was it a sign of things to come. The reveal trailer mostly focused on the controller, leaving everyone to believe that's what the Wii U was. A controller? I mean, come on, the name Wii U basically sounds like every other Wii peripheral, just with a dumber name. This reveal went so poorly that they had to reveal it again a year later just for people to understand what the hell it was. This time around, they finally explained that it was a console, but kinda spoiled it again when they announced that Nintendo TV and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 was gonna come out for this thing.
You see, Nintendo wanted the Wii U to appeal to everyone, so in turn, it appealed to no one.
Hardcore gamers didn't like it because most of the games that appealed to them either weren't on the console, or if they were heavily downgraded versions of them. And casual gamers didn't like it because there weren't a lot of games that appealed to them either. Just the lack of a general focus on anything and the fact that there were better options out there made it a hard sell. Now this is where I enter the picture. I didn't really know the Wii U even existed until 2014, probably due to the piss poor advertising, so I asked to get one for Christmas and I got a Wii Mini. So I tried again the next year and I got it. First, we definitely have to talk about the gamepad. Failed console or not, this is actually a really well-made controller. It's pretty comfortable to use, and these buttons aren't anything to joke about. But it's definitely got its own mega rodeo of problems. First off, the screen quality wasn't great. It's not bad, it was 480p. But that was the standard quality of a YouTube video in 2008. Second, they just had to cram all this junk into it. A camera, IR sensor, NFC touchpoint, none of these were necessary, plus it tanked the battery life. It's a pretty good controller, but that's where it ends. I guess to add to the ongoing confusion, the Wii U was also compatible with the Wii Remote and all its accessories. I don't know, man. The least they could do was make an enhanced Wii Remote or bundle a Wii Remote with the console. It just feels like they had to rely on older technology to make the Wii U sell better. But hey, if you didn't like the lack of controllers, here's the Wii U Pro controller. I used to have one of these, but it wasn't really my jam. Console-wise, the Wii U looked pretty much the same as a Wii, just longer. I originally picked up the Mario Kart 8 bundle along with 3 games, that being Super Mario Maker, Smash Bros, and NES Remix. After recently playing Mario Kart 7, 8 was a stellar upgrade. It was definitely what I had in mind when I thought HD Mario Kart. I liked the new tracks, but I thought the retro tracks were pretty bare. They look nice, no doubt, but the selection here just didn't sit well with me. I still prefer Wii, but 8 was my go-to Mario Kart for a while. Super Mario Maker was the game I was most hyped about when it was released. I loved making and uploading my own Mario levels, and especially the charm of making them. I just love it when games include some kind of level editor or even letting me use a custom name, and the fact that that's what this whole game was just wild to me. I also liked its wacky attitude. There were just so many crazy things you could do in Mario Maker. You could swat flies in a secret minigame, mess around with the title screen, give Mario this funky looking mushroom. I loved all of it. When its sequel came out, I kinda preferred the original. The second game is a better level editor, but it kinda lost all the wacky things you could do in the first game, which is why I'll always love the original. Smash for Wii U and 3DS was my introduction into the series. I probably shouldn't give opinions on Smash Bros. Considering I've only played Smash on Wii U, 3DS, and Ultimate, but I'll give it a shot anyways. I loved it. Although I'm definitely missing out on the better games, I managed to put hours upon hours into this game. It was a pretty fun time. I messed around with the different options and modes, and I love the trophy mechanics, and I'll always have a soft spot for Smash Run. Not a bad title by any means, but there are better games in the series. NES Remix was fine. New Super Mario Bros. U. This was a launch title, a very mediocre launch title that I had absolutely no interest in. I had already beaten the first 3 and completely stopped caring about the series since these were all basically the same game. They look nice, they control pretty well, but I just don't care. Another launch title was Nintendo Land. This was clearly trying to be the Wii U's Wii Sport game. Was it nearly as successful? No. Was it more fun? That's debatable. It's pretty much just a compilation of Nintendo-themed minigames. Most of them are actually pretty fun. You had games themed to Mario and Zelda, but there are also games themed to more obscure titles like Pikmin and the Mysterious Murisame Castle. This is one of the few games that really took advantage of the Wii U's technology. In some games, you have to do certain things using the gamepad, like throw ninja stars or pilot a spaceship, and some games had you have a different view than others viewing the TV. This is definitely more of a party game than Wii Sports, but it's still such a shame that it didn't really catch on. Let's get away from 2D Mario games and talk about Super Mario 3D World. It's pretty good, but I can still complain about it. They basically took 3D Land and made it HD. Granted, it has way more personality and is a better game overall, but it doesn't really feel like a console game. I'd say Mario Maker is the better Wii U Mario game. But by far, one of my favorite Wii U games ever is the heavily underrated Pikmin 3. I played the GameCube original a while back, and while it's a pretty stellar game, it certainly hasn't aged the best. Pikmin 3 fixes this wholeheartedly. It looks amazing. Even though I've only played the demo so far, the little amount I've played has been awesome, and with it getting the deluxe treatment on Switch soon, I'm really looking forward to playing the full game. Aside from these bigger games, you could download smaller games and virtual console titles from the Nintendo eShop. I never really got that many, probably due to the fact that all the eShop exclusives were f***ing garbage, but that's just my opinion. I mean, you got some nice games like Shovel Knight and Art of Balance was always a fun time, but then there's games like Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. Ah yes, the series that began as a spiritual successor to Donkey Kong on the Game Boy, which then turned into this, a mediocre puzzle platformer that had an amiibo paywall. Ouch. And Christ, man, I forgot about how much Nintendo pushed Amiibo back then. They were these little figures you can scan into some games that gave you special rewards. Some of them were cool, like in Super Smash Bros., where your Amiibo basically became a fighter, which you could then customize. But then some of them were just unlockable costumes, or even worse, locking content and forcing you to use an Amiibo to unlock it. But I will never, over my dead body, say that Amiibo Tap is stupid. That would be slander. Now, on top of the newer games you had, you could also play the original Wii games by either downloading them from the Nintendo eShop as part of the Virtual Console service or accessing the Wii U's Wii menu. You pretty much just became an HD Wii. Aside from missing a few things like GameCube support or Wii Connect 24, you can play almost the entire library of Wii games. This is hands down the best part of the Wii U. Why not combine an almost non-existent library of games with a library of games that is the definition of oversaturation? It's genius.
Now that's pretty much all the good things the Wii U had to offer. I wish it ended there.
While yes, the Wii U had a lot more decent games than not, that's not really saying much considering it only had around 700 games released for it. I'm not saying there weren't any games, but it was obvious Nintendo weren't really trying their best here. At launch, you had Nintendo Land, New Super Mario Bros. U, and Sync Party. The only one that really had to be a Wii U game was Nintendo Land. Otherwise, you just had an HD rehash of New Super Mario Bros. Wii and some jank karaoke game. While some good games trickled their way out in years following, there were just a lot of mediocre or just flat-out bad first-party titles. You see, no matter how bad Nintendo's consoles sell, people still remember them fondly because of their immense quality in first-party titles. For example, the GameCube. Nintendo's second worst-selling console had almost every single Nintendo franchise on it, and even some of the best games in their respective franchises. On the Wii U, there were noticeable absences from franchises like Metroid and F-Zero, and the franchises that were there just did not come close to the same qualities and standards Nintendo was known to have. They weren't the worst games, but barely.
I remember the worst of these games coming out from 2015 to 2016. I like to give this period of time the working title garbage.
Games like Star Fox Zero, Mario Party 10, these games just were pretty bad and not at all what I expect from Nintendo especially. It almost seemed like they were spiraling out of control. But then finally, Nintendo put out the dumpster fire with the announcement of the Wii U successor, the Nintendo Switch, and they really haven't looked back since. From discontinuing it and releasing basically all their games on their more popular platforms, it's fair to say Nintendo would like to forget about the Wii U. From the beginning, it was plagued with problems. It was underpowered, expensive, had a shoestring for a games library, couple that with bad first-party support, and you got a recipe for disaster. But the good games that were on the console were definitely pretty fun. Despite all the Wii U's problems, I'll still look back on it fondly.
So, yeah, despite its unanimous hatred among pretty much every living soul on the planet Earth, I'll still play my Wii U from time to time. If I were to recommend it today, I'd say the Wii U is a better Wii than a Wii U, but there's still some quality games that haven't been ported to the Switch yet, but it's only a matter of time. In the meantime, I guess I'll keep my Call of Duty Modern Warfare Deluxe streams to myself.